Thank you for coming today, Raul.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having conversation today. And for the first time, could you explain by yourself what do you do now?
Yeah, so I'm Raul, founder and CEO of Giga. Giga is, I usually say it's the first real neobank in Japan, and we are making banking in Japan easier for foreigners. But the problem what we're actually solving is a bigger one, because when people cross border, move to a new country to live, to work, then very often they cannot take their trust or credit score with them. So like what we want, basically we want to build a world where basically people, when they move, their trust can move together with them, and they're also able to access financial services in all countries they live in. So that's what we actually want to change in the world.
It's very interesting. Thank you for introduction about your business. And in Japan, I'm not an immigrant, so it's very difficult to feel sympathy or empathy. But I live in San Francisco now, so I feel strong empathy about fixing this type of problem. It is because if immigrant people want to make some bank account in other country, not home country, there is many problems, a language barrier, and so on. So please fix this problem.
Yes. And I think Japan is a great place to start, because Japan is right now, traditionally Japan does not have many foreigners, but the population is aging super rapidly. And actually, like the number of foreigners working in Japan will double by 2030 compared with now. So basically it's a small market but growing one, and the Japanese banks are really bad with foreigners. Japanese language is difficult. Very often internet banking is also complicated. So people end up using banking service, which is basically from 1980s maybe. So like bank books, cash cards, not able to get even a debit card, and very difficult to get the loan. So yeah, so Japan is a great place because there will be many foreigners coming, and it's also like a big challenge. But every challenge is an opportunity. So
but Raul, when you come to Japan for the first time, did you try to make bank account in Japan?
Yes, like it's an interesting story. I came to Japan.
Could you share? Yeah, could you share the story?
I came to Japan as a student, and at that time I had the impression of Japan as being technologically very advanced country, and it was in a way it was true, because I was able to get a phone, kind of flip phone at that time, but I could watch TV from a phone. That was before smartphones. I was like, wow, okay, Japan is great. And then like they told me, hey, like why don't you go and open a bank account next to like so university sent me to a bank, and it was actually not too difficult to open. I had to write many kind of paper applications, but it was fine. And then I got the bank book and the cash card. And bank book had some Disney characters on it, kind of like funny. But basically, for me, I had never seen a bank book, because in Estonia we already used the debit card and internet bank. And the cash card felt like a fax machine. Also, like it's a card, but you cannot pay with this. And you can only use it in ATMs, and ATMs close at 3 p.m. sometimes. So it's like, why does it happen? So I was a little bit shocked. And today, for many foreigners, actually, the experience has not changed. So they still get this bank book and the cash card. So yeah, I'm trying to change that now.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story, how to make a bank account in Japan for the first time. I understand this process. For Japanese people, it's hard, but for foreigners and for immigrant people, it's harder than Japanese people. And I have a problem. Now I came to the States as a student, MBA student. For the first time, I was I feel anxiety. Oh, how to make bank account in the States? So I feel sympathy, and I cheer your startup try to fix this problem. It's very important thing to fix this problem. And I want to ask next question. Do you have some hard things when you started your startups?
So basically, life of an entrepreneur is always difficult. So because
okay.
Because you're looking at the world, you identify things what you want to fix, and then you have to be naive enough to actually believe that you can fix it and start fixing it. And the world not to change, right? So it's always a challenge. But yeah, so I have like maybe one story, not with Giga, but when I first made my first company, it was actually I used to be working for a government in Estonia, and then it was end of 2012, 2013. I came to Japan, and my first idea was to help Estonian companies in Japan. And I had a client who was selling chemicals, and basically it was so rare chemical, nobody knew about it. And I came to Japan and tried to find clients for them. And I remember standing on a street, having a phone, and thinking, okay, I only think I have is a phone, and I have to cold call Japanese companies to, and nobody wants to take sales calls anyway in Japan also.
Okay.
And I had to I had no way to find those customers through my connections. I had to cold call companies and reach decision makers and actually make a deal somehow. So it was mentally really hard, but
yeah, I see.
But I actually ended up finding a perfect customer for the chemicals company and selling everything they were able to produce. So that was actually a success story.
But, thank you. So could you keep your conversation? I wanna listen.
Okay. But later when you actually start with a startup, then you want to solve like bigger problems. And usually when you start, you don't have many resources. So you have to be resourceful instead. Like think about ways how can you leverage like your story, your experience. Like you have to convince your team members to actually follow your dream, and always you have to project confidence while you actually know that things are not decided yet.
Okay.
But yeah. So like for example, we are also like when we started with Giga, we started building the product, and we started working actually before I was able to get any cash-ins from the investors. But I had already been talking with investors quite a lot, so I was quite confident that money will come. But it was quite nerve-wracking because for 2 weeks when we already were working, money hasn't arrived yet. So I was like, okay, we already made the jump, but how to do it. But yeah, it came, and we were able to move forward. But yeah, there are many moments. You look like it's many moments when as a founder you have to trust in your own ability, but also you trust you will have a little bit of luck.
Thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial story. I feel sympathy from the perspective of this point. It is because probably you want to say the problem that entrepreneurs have changing every time. For the first time, catching paid customer, and next, the problem is providing sophisticated service and satisfy clients. So changing. So we have experience having some problem. After that, if we can fix some problem, we have next problem. So, endless problem.
Exactly, but in a way, I think that's why we do it also, because we want to. You have to like solving problems in a way, and you have to be okay with uncertainty. So basically, like if somebody who likes having a stable job and doing the same thing all over and all over, maybe it's not a good idea to start a company. But when you are kind of a little bit the rebel and want to change things and you want to learn and develop by yourself as well while doing it.
So it's very important thing for entrepreneur to interpret problem. Fixing a problem is very enjoyable experience, like going to Disneyland.
Yeah. So recently, a personal story. I started eating more spicy food, like extremely spicy foods. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe the reason is that it's actually similar with business, because when you eat spicy food, actually after eating it, it's hard and you suffer a little bit, but then you feel better. So it's kind of like cleansing. And and also in a business, like you have many problems, it's hard, but when you solve it, you feel better, and then okay, next problem comes. But yeah, so it's in a way, like you should not avoid difficult things, but you like going through difficult things actually gives actual rewards. So that's maybe the mindset of actually having now.
Okay, thank you for telling me. And if I have some problem as an entrepreneur, I remember today's YouTube recording, definitely. Okay. And next question, I want to ask you, Lau, where are you from?
I'm originally from Estonia. So Estonia is a small country in Northern Europe, like 1.3 million people. But it's interesting because we have 10 unicorn startups from Estonia.
Oh, amazing.
So it's actually a country with the highest number of startups per capita in Europe, and a very vibrant startup scene today. So yeah, and also Estonia is globally known for our digital governance. So basically, there are only one government service that cannot be done online. Can you guess which one?
Which one? I don't guess.
Like a few years ago, it was 3 services. So it was not possible to get married, get divorced, and buy and sell property. But now, only one service that you cannot do online is getting divorced.
Only divorce?
Yeah.
I can believe it. Yeah.
And it's not because of technology. It's because I think it shouldn't be too easy.
Yes, it's not technological problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's amazing. I envy Estonian system. It is because Japanese. If Japanese people try to register some information, we have to go to the desk in person or something. So it's very difficult to register information only online. So I have this type of problem in Japan. I live in San Francisco now, but I have to go to the place for registering some information in person. So for the sake, I have to go back to Japan to register information. So I'm so sad.
Yeah, so for me, because I don't actually have to do it in Estonia. So in Estonia, actually the Giga, like as a parent company, is in Estonia, and I made that company while I was in Japan during COVID.
Okay.
So I didn't have to go to Estonia to make the company, and I was able to do it while I am in Japan.
Amazing. So you can make company easily in COVID situation. It's not necessary to go there to Estonia.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. And so I want to ask you next question. You were born in Estonia and you bridged Japan and Estonia. So what is essential to bridge the market between Japan and other country? Your case is Estonia.
So I actually believe that Estonia and Japan are quite complementary. What I mean by that is that in Japan, there is a long tradition of monotsukuri. So basically, like lots of kind of manufacturing and getting physical products perfect.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like my experience is that when it comes to kind of processes and maybe digital services, it's Japan. Like Japanese companies are often not so like not so good. But monotsukuri,
not so good. Exactly.
is much better. And in Estonia, we are actually good with software because there is, and we also target efficiency because we have never enough people in our team. So we have to automate as much as possible, and you can automate with IT. So in a way, we have like different strengths, and it's possible to learn from each other. But sometimes this is also posing some challenges because, for example, in Monotskuri, let's say like I'm building a chair, and I can make a chair only once. If it's done, I have to make a next chair. And in IT, actually, it's a little bit different because if you release a product and there is a mistake, I don't have to make a new product. I can just fix it because it's software, not hardware. But so sometimes I've felt that, especially with large Japanese companies, this my kind of startup thinking, where I think that, okay, if there's a mistake, I can fix it. And maybe from their side, more like Monotskuri thinking that if you have a mistake, you have to, maybe product is flawed. So this clash is quite difficult.
I see. Thank you for sharing your experience, but it's very good way to combine strong point. In Estonia, Estonia has very strong point in software, but Japan has a strong point in hardware or something, and combine strong point. I love this type of way, and but I want to ask you another question. I think you have option to go to other country, not only Japan, but I think you chose Japan. Why did you choose Japan?
Actually, yeah, when I first came to Japan, my interest has always been more about Asia in general. And I always believed that Asia will be the center of global economy in 21st century. And I mean, this is kind of true because there's like most people live now in Asia, and it's economically like developing very fast. But I already believed that in 1990s when I was basically a school kid. And when I first came to Japan, it was basically because there was a exchange program between my university in Estonia and university in Japan. But even later, when I went back to Estonia, I worked for government. I was working often on projects also with connecting Estonia with China and like different things. But what I learned was that China was also economy growing very quickly, but the values were different. So we were trying to do like large projects, like getting investments into Estonian ports and so on. But then Dalai Lama visited Estonia, and Estonia is a democratic country, so people meet, and everything was frozen. So all the projects were stopped after that. And for me, the realization was that it's not in my power to change that. And I also, because I have more experience in Japan, and Japan is big enough for Estonia as well. So yeah, and so I came back to Japan already a bit more than 10 years ago, and I've been in every business I've been doing. I've been trying to connect Estonia and Japan.
I see. Thank you for sharing your story, and I could understand why you choose or you get opportunity to come to Japan, and how do you adjust Japanese market. So okay, so I think you try to fix next problem. As we talk with each other today, I think you have a new problem, but I believe you can fix this type of problem 100%. You have positive thinking, and you try to fix a problem every time very positively. So do you have some problem now to when you run your startup?
So with our startup, what we did last year was that we did sort of a pilot. We launched already MVP, basically just a bank account.
Congratulations.
People were able to onboard. We were able to learn from our actual people as customers. But we did not launch the full service yet, because what we want to do as kind of first base level full service is a bank account. but also a payment card, because cash card you cannot pay online, you cannot pay in a store. So people need actually some sort of like a MasterCard or Visa, and also remittance, because many of our customers actually send money back home to support family, or even like save money back home. So so now right now we are actually integrating with the next partner bank, and preparing to launch a full service this year. And we also fundraising. So this is as a startup, like basically like you have different milestones what you have to reach. And right now we are fundraising to launch product and reach a product market fit. So that's a big goal for what we have actually for like this year and actually next year.
I see. Thank you for sharing your startup status. So it's a very good opportunity for investor to invest your startup. So if you are interested in investing his company, please reach out to me or Raul. We share the contact information on this YouTube channel. So thank you for sharing your status. And if you can collect money from investor, what type of investor do you want to choose?
Well, of course, the best investors are who actually support the mission, what we are trying to accomplish, but also in people who actually maybe have experience in entrepreneurship and can actually help us solving those problems that come to the way. I found out that that's really useful. And what I also feel is that very often people need to be excited about the opportunity like to solve financial problems for people. So like if they know anything about fintech, that's really useful as well. But yeah, we are doing our business mostly in Japan, so connection with Japan is also always helpful. Also.
Okay, let's try to reach out to him by all Japanese businessman. Yeah, just kidding. But okay, so Raul, thank you for answering many questions. Next question is final question. Do you have something that you want to share on this YouTube channel? On this YouTube channel, many entrepreneurs, executives, and investors watching this YouTube movie. So do you have some topic or what you want to tell on this YouTube channel, finally?
I think I covered many topics already. But yeah, so but yeah, if anybody wants to discuss more about the Japanese market, entering Japanese market as a foreign entrepreneur, yeah, find me in LinkedIn or in Facebook, and I'm always ready to jump on a call and exchange experiences. So I'm very open to share what I have learned.
Yeah. So thank you for today's enjoyable conversation. ありがとうございました。Thank you.